Hello guys, MediEvil Fan147 here, back with a little wee extra footage of MediEvil 2. I don't think anyone's done this in a Let's Play before. I haven't really read the full diary myself, but I thought, well, we're just here, we might relax and read the Professor's and Palethorn's backstory a bit, because you know how we were saying we used to be friends, and that was before the expedition of 78. Ever wonder how we got these hands? This story tells you about a trek he went on with Palethorn before he betrayed him in a tomb that started collapsing, and it also mentions Inverness, which is my nearest city, which I get quite fangirly over, because this game also takes place in the UK, because this is in London. But yeah, it even mentions Inverness in his diary, so let's get started, shall we? The Diary of Professor Hamilton Kift, January 10th, 1878. This morning, an unexpected caller presented himself at my door. It was none other than Lord Palethorn. I hadn't seen him since the expulsion from the magic circle. The previous month, and quite frankly, I had hoped never to see the fellow again. The embarrassing details of that incident I recounted in my journal. For 1877, apart from being contrite or ashamed, he seemed rather bullish for a man ostracized for abusing his wand. Straight away, he asked me to accompany him on a trip to the north. When I said I would do no such thing, he laughed and began to tell me of the unique opportunity he was offering. Very quickly, he explained he had found the last resting place of certain pages of Zarek's spellbook. He even had a map, and this was where I came in. He needed a translator, for despite his outward manner, I fear he is not possessed of too great an education, and with my knowledge of ancient texts, I was just the man for him. Oh, so he technically is just using the professor. Like, he's saying we used to be friends just because of this one trick. He said he didn't even want to go on it with him, but it's like, we're friends because we're on this one trick together, even though he's clearly using me. This astounding news confounded me. He left giving me until dawn, roll credits, sir, giving me until dawn to reach a decision. January 11th. I have thought long and hard about his proposition, and although I am unsure of the man, the chance to find the legendary spellbook is too great an allure. I agreed to the proposal. We set forth, a week today, travelling to the remote Hebrides, NB, remind cook to pack ointment. January 17th. I find myself in the Bonnie Prince Charlie, a coastal inn. Oh, that's a good reference. Some 80 miles west of Inverness, and that is my nearest city, just over 100 miles away. Tomorrow we set sail for the Hebrides. The weather forecast is bad. As I look from my window across the sea, a great foreboding steals up upon me, as real as the storm clouds themselves, that at this very moment roll in from the east, blotting the stars from the sky. January 18th. We have set up camp for the night. It was a relief to be once again on dry land. The journey was bad, as if the ocean itself was trying to bar our progress. For a long while, it was touch and go whether we would be drowned at sea or smashed upon the rocks themselves. If I weren't a man of science, I would have feared that something was trying to stop us from reaching our journey's end. Oh, I wonder if it was like the spirit of Zarek or something. Still, tomorrow we set out and search for the burial grounds shown on the map. I wonder why Zarek's spellbook just happened to appear in Scotland. That's kind of weird, because Galamir but Galamir did have some Scottish residents. I wonder if Galamir, like, is a legendary place that they situated in Scotland, but it's not a real place. That makes sense. That would make sense, actually. Like, it's a legendary land back in the medieval times that they made up as a place in Scotland, but then they actually made a real place in England in Medieval 2. Now, I have the map the right way up. The route is clear to me. We reach the tomb on the northern point of the island at midday. Tomorrow we enter, not knowing whether the greatest prize in history awaits us on the other side of that stony door. God, this sounds like quite a fun trek. March the 31st. This is quite a long trek they're on, actually. 1878. Having problems adjusting to my new mechanical hands. We'll recount my story later. For a second I thought that was actually an error in the text. April 1st. 1878. Hands fully functional. It is indeed fitting that today is All Fool's Day. As I begin to recount the final stage of our ill-fated trip, my memories of the time are now thankfully vague, and I have difficulty separating the real from the imaginings of a fever-racked brain. We entered the tomb and discovered the spellbook. I am sure of that. Whoever sealed the book in this resting place must have meant for it to remain there for all eternity. For no sooner... Oh gosh! I wonder if Zarek will return once again. For no sooner had Palethorn placed his hands upon it, the room began to collapse. The last thing I remember... I remember this part. The last thing I remember clearly is Palethorn pushing me aside as the great tomb door began to lower. I scrambled for the exit too late. The door sliding shut, trapping me in the darkness, my hands crushed beyond repair. The next 2 weeks are but a fevered dream. How long I crawled in the darkness, or how I escaped, I do not know. I am reliably informed I was spotted at the water's edge by local fishermen, and transported back to Inverness to recover from my grievous injuries. Oh, I wonder if Rigmore existed back then, because Rigmore is the hospital in Inverness right now, so it'd be quite funny if that's actually where he got treated. Now, safely back in London, I fear for the future. I can only wonder what Palethorn intends to do with the book. Only one thing is certain. When he does surface again, I will have my revenge. Signed, Professor Hamilton Kift. So you can see now why he was so passionate about taking down Palethorn after what he put him through there in the major betrayal. Like, just trapping him in that tomb, all alone, getting his hands crushed beyond repair, with no way out. But now that he has served his purpose to him, he's no longer of use to him. So of course, the Professor would want his revenge with him in particular. And I know that, of course, it was sad what happened to Kia, but that's more of Dan's beef with him, because Dan is upset because Kia got killed. But you can also see where the Professor's coming from, why he badly wants revenge against Palethorn. But there we go, guys. That actually didn't feel like such a long reading. I remember reading through that when I was younger. It was much longer, because look how long it drifts through. Oh, like that cool old-fashioned oil lamp in his rooms, yeah. See, it feels longer to actually go through like that. But thank you very much for watching. I just wanted to go through reading Professor's Diary right now. I've been meaning to do that for quite a while. But thank you very much for watching. I just thought you might want to see that little bit of backstory to the story of MediEvil 2. And a lot of people just seem to think it's just such a quick start. With another bad villain, boom, we're into another new story and everything. The zombies are risen from the dead and that. But that's the actual backstory of how this villain came about. And how the dead started being risen again, and how Zarek's spells actually came into play. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. For 1877, far from being contrite or ashamed, he seemed rather bullish. For a man ostracized for abusing his wand. He laughed and began to tell me the unique opportunity. He laughed. January 17th. I can't find myself. The journey was bad, as if the ocean itself was trying to bar our progress. Palethorn pushing me aside as the great tomb door. Now safely back in London, I fear for the future. I can only wonder what Palethorn intends to do with the book.